Hello and welcome to The Limelight, your go-to podcast for all things marketing and SEO. I'm Chandler. I'm a digital marketing specialist here at Digital Limelight Media, and I'm thrilled to be one of your hosts. Each week, we dive deep into the world of digital marketing, bringing you expert insights, industry news, and actionable strategies to help you elevate your online presence and stay ahead of the curve.
Whether you're a marketer, an entrepreneur, or just curious about the dynamics of digital marketing, tune in to the In the Limelight podcast as we unlock the secrets to achieving optimized impact in the digital realm.
So join Lauren and I as we explore the exciting and ever-evolving landscape of digital marketing right here, The Limelight.
Hello, and welcome back to the Limelight Podcast.
Howdy, friends.
This is Lauren.
This is Chandler.
And today we're going to talk to you about
AI.
artificial that too.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I thought we were doing like a back and forth thing. We absolutely
Let's run it back.
were not.
No, just kidding.
I know, right?
So, other than that, Chandler, what was your lemon today?
I was about to say, yeah, spoiler alert. I guess we're talking about AI. But okay, so I'll start. Should I start with my good or my bad?
Let's end on a positive note. So we can start with the bad.
Okay, bad is I found out, I want to say about a week ago, I would whenever I did, because I would do like yoga every couple times a week, and then I was like, my side hurts. Like I don't really know what's happening. And it turns out I pulled a rib out of place. Oof. So that has been fun. I'm going to the chiropractor. Luckily, he said that like it's usually much worse. So like I think it was very, very minor.
That's good.
But on a good note is that this weekend I am so excited because I get to see one of my best friends that's coming back from South Carolina.
Oh my gosh, that's so exciting. Were you guys friends in college?
So we were actually friends in middle school.
Oh,
so it's been a minute.
Yeah. That's fun.
Yeah, I'm excited. What about you?
Well, my lemon is that last week I bought it was like a hibiscus flavoring water. And like, I don't know, I tend to really like hibiscus, passion fruit, mango, like kind of tropical fruits like that. So I found like this new sparkling water brand at like the local grocery store.
Okay.
Brought it home, stuck it in the fridge, and then I forgot about it. But we worked really hard on my grandparents' house. They're moving, and, you know, I felt really good, mulched, helped out in the basement, pulled weeds, like did a bunch of work. Came home, was super excited to drink my sparkling water.
Oh, no.
And my aunt was like, oh, hey, like I was thirsty. She walked the dog for us, which, you know, really thankful for that. It was awesome. The dog sitter couldn't make it because it was kind of last minute plans. So she was able to take our dog. And I get home and she's like, oh, by the way, like I drank someone's drink and it was bad. So not only did she drink my drink, she told me it tasted like nothing.
Oh, no.
She was like, it just tasted like fizzy water. I was like, well, I wanted to try it for myself, but okay. So I guess I'll just have to go buy another one. I guess on the grand scheme of things, if my worst problem this week is someone drinking my sparkling water, whatever.
Pretty great week, I'd say.
Yeah, otherwise, my boyfriend and I are seeing Hozier, so I'm super, super excited.
I would kill for that. That sounds so fun.
Yeah, we snagged tickets back the day they were released, and I have a secret talent of getting tickets for shows.
Oh.
I'm pretty good at getting good seats at a fair price. And I'm not going to share my tactics here, but I will say, you know, I got the seats that I wanted for Hozier.
Okay, noted. I will be getting the lowdown off of the air.
Oh,
I do need this secret.
Yeah, I'll have to fill you in. But anyway, getting into AI. So, Chandler, do you know what AI is?
So I know what it is, but I don't know if I could give you like a textbook definition, to be completely honest with you. I know it's like advanced like computer systems that are able to read and analyze things at a very, very high like IQ level.
Yeah, so artificial intelligence, or AI, is the theory and development of computer systems able to perform tasks that normally require human intelligence, such as visual perception, speech recognition, decision making, and translation between languages. There's a ton of things that make up AI, like machine learning, natural language processing, computer vision. But what it basically is getting computers to think like humans. AI was started all
Which
the
is
way back.
super comforting.
Oh yeah, I
Makes
know
me
it's
just
kind of
sleep
uncanny
just like a
valley a
baby.
little bit. Yeah, it is. It is interesting for sure. I mean, the rise of AI has changed marketing as we know it, and will continue to change marketing as we know it. AI really isn't that old. Like, AI as we know the concept today started in the 1940s at Dartmouth. There was a group of philosophers trying to recreate and describe the process of human thinking, and they wanted to see if they could make a computer version of a human brain, basically. Back then, they like kind of had that thought, and so it was philosophers originally that started that idea, but they were able to kind of turn that theory into actual programmable digital computers starting again in the 1940s. So the official date that AI was founded was the 1956 at Dartmouth. And yeah, they really just wanted to make a computer that could think like a human. And they thought way back then it was going to be easy. So the US government, the British government, and I think some other organizations funneled millions and millions of dollars into research grants to be able to create these like artificial human brains. And nothing really came of it. I mean, we obviously got some pretty cool stuff, and we got computers and we got all that. But I mean, AI as we know it, I think, has really, 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 truly progressed in the 2020s.
Oh yeah,
Within
it's like
just, like, the last
completely
few
like
years.
exponentially skyrocketed.
Yeah, the project for just AI research went largely unfunded between 1774 and the 2020s. They consider this time the AI winter. I think that's kind of funny.
That is actually really
But
funny.
yeah, as we were saying, interest and investment in AI really, really boomed in 2020 with, I'd like to say, just the rise of things like ChatGPT.
Oh, 100%. And I think it's so crazy because like and this is probably like not a good thing to say, but I quite literally live my life off of ChatGPT. Like,
Oh,
even
absolutely.
if I'm like, for example, like I'm like, okay, it's Sunday, I need to go grocery shopping. ChatGPT, will you make me a grocery list that has to do with muscle building, fat loss, and anywhere from around 500 to 1,000 calories per meal? And it will literally spit you out an exact grocery list of what to get, and it's categorized by what, and you can say like, I want it to be less cooking intensive, or I want it to be cheaper, I want it to all be organic. Like, it's so crazy. You can use it for literally anything.
I love using it for my workout plans.
Oh yeah, that's
back
genius.
when I went to Denver back in October, we knew we were going to be hiking Rocky Mountain National Park. And I'm not in terrible shape. I've got a dog that I walk a ton, and we walk him up hills. We walk him far. You know, like, if someone's going to be training into hiking, I felt like I was pretty good about starting, because I was starting at a good spot. And then I've got a gym membership, and I like work out and I lift and stuff like that too. So I was feeling pretty good. So I had ChatGPT help write me a workout plan to train and literally hike these mountains. And I'd like to say it did a pretty good job. I mean, we made it and I made it back down.
Oh, it's I think it's just like so crazy because it can literally do anything. Like, for my friend, like, that he's like kind of wanting to start a little bit of interior design like program for himself. He can like build an entire business plan with like marketing strategies and like I mean, it's not like amazing, but to get off the ground off running, like, I think it's such a powerful tool.
Yeah, it's been really awesome for me just helping come up with, FAQ questions. Once we've exhausted the ones that are kind of on that front page of Google that once you click, more expands down for the questions. I'll say, hey, ChatGPT, can you help me come up with 20 questions about this specific procedure that a patient might ask their doctor? And then I'll run those questions through with my clients, and I've got a pretty good basis for, common things that people ask right then and there. Same thing. I really like to use it for, I don't like to just straight copy and paste from ChatGPT, but it gets really good inspiration for email subject lines.
Oh yeah. I think also like ChatGPT does a really good job of like kind of teetering that line of like, this is for example, like say I own a med spa and I'm having a special on Botox. I think it does a really good job of being able to like kind of be either professional and be like, hey, this is a special on Botox, get it now. Or it's like that more organic feeling of, hey, first name, just want to let you know there's a special in this email for you. Like it's able to kind of differentiate what you want in terms of whatever you're asking it.
Yeah, it's really cool. And I mean, it even goes beyond just asking it questions. I mean, it can give your business a competitive advantage by enabling specific targeting, personalized experiences, enhanced analytics. Things like Google Ads targeting relies very heavily on AI. You can automate repetitive tasks and really create bots that do things for you, giving yourself extra time and saving you money that you're able to put your time somewhere else. You can, do a lot of things like coming up with content, although we'll get to the hesitancy of just straight content creation from ChatGPT a little bit later. But yeah, there's a ton of really cool tools that ChatGPT and just AI in general has for businesses, and things that will continue to be created, I guess. I mean, AI is relatively new in the grand scheme of just like technology, and like the really big advances in AI just have been huge over the last few years. I mean, we never know what is coming next, and there's just so many opportunities with AI.
Yeah, I think there's going to be more like, not necessarily like more AI. I think there's going to be more businesses that will like have their own AI. For example, like OpenAI, ChatGPT. I guarantee you there's going to be another competitor that opens up that is going to try to rival OpenAI that has X, Y, and Z, that their AI system does this better, and they specialize in image creation, and then you go to them for image creation, or you go to this other company, for example, if you really are focusing on SEO when it comes to AI. Like, I just can kind of, that's my guess of what I kind of see happening in the future with AI.
Yeah, it's interesting because I would say that ChatGPT is definitely, and OpenAI are definitely that forefront. I believe they were backed by Microsoft for a long time. I don't think that they still are. I thought they might have branched apart. I could be wrong. They might still be connected. But yeah, Google's got its AI. There's a ton of other AIs, and it's super interesting. It almost reminds me, if you know any like space history, of the space race back in the 50s and 60s, when it's US and Russia and other countries too. But I mean, us and Russia were really at the forefront of space exploration. It's, who's getting into space first? Who's getting into orbit first? Who's getting to the moon first? And, it changes every time, just kind of depending on who's made the biggest technological advancements. But I think the coolest thing about that is every time someone's making those advancements, it's not necessarily leaving other people in the dust. Everybody's learning from those advancements as well. And that's where we get just crazy growth, just in the research and in the capabilities that we have. Is your business ready to skyrocket its online presence? Dive into the world of social media advertising, where your brand meets billions of potential customers. Imagine the possibility of reaching over 2.4 billion users on Instagram and 3 billion on Facebook every month. Yes, billions. With targeted social media ads, your business isn't just another drop in the digital ocean. It's a beacon for the masses, right where they already are. Did you know that a staggering 37% of Facebook users make a purchase directly on the platform? Over 63.5 million people have made at least one purchase. That's a lot of potential sales waiting for you. With Digital Limelight Media, your ads aren't just seen, they're strategic. Our analytics go deep, helping you refine your campaigns for the best return on investment. Whether it's brand awareness or conversions you're after, your goals are within reach. Don't just advertise. Advertise smarter with the insights and expertise of Digital Limelight Media. Ready to light up the digital world with your brand? Visit us online at dlmconversion.com and let's get started today. So, speaking about the tools of AI for business, what are some things that AI can do? Basically, how would you use AI in the world of search engine optimization?
So I think there's a couple different avenues that you can go through. I think some of the stuff that I really like to use, one of them is Surfer SEO. That will kind of allow you to run a page into their software, and it can basically analyze, hey, you need to use, for example, if we're talking about a facelift page, you need to use facelift 5 more times, and you also need to put in the word consultation and the word neck lift also 3 more times for it to be as optimized as possible in terms of like what Google likes and Google's standards. And they also have a feature in there that says that you can write it with AI, that it will actually incorporate everything that it needs to incorporate it into a copy, and you can basically just review it and then kind of tweak it whatever you need from there. Now, personally, we don't really use that. We still like to have our content writers create original content with, I think, kind of some of the help and guidance of AI while still utilizing our team to make sure that it is up to our standards. There's a ton of them, Lauren. There's Google's Rank Brain. There's also SEMrush. We use SEMrush every single day here. I think there's quite literally so many things that you can use to kind of help analyze search patterns, users' behaviors, and honestly, just overall, like all SEO in general. Like even if you need help with, like, for example, some meta titles or meta descriptions, you're like, hey, can you help me write a meta title for a facelift page that is in Portland, Oregon, and it can't be more than 70 characters, and I need a meta description that also talks about how they are a double board surgeon, and that also can't be over 155 characters. And it will spit out a meta title and meta description, and then you can also tweak it from there and kind of figure out what you actually want it to be. But it just puts you at such a further way down the process line.
Yeah, AI just has some really, really, really cool tools. Going into content creation, I know that we've touched on the fact that you don't just want to put content from ChatGPT right on your website. Do you know why that is?
So I think it's still up in the air. There isn't like a definitive answer if like AI is going to negatively impact your site's rankings, or if Google's going to kind of not show it because it can tell it's not human derived. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of up in the air. There's been things that say, AI, we are seeing great like results with it. There's nothing happening. Everything's going good. There's also people that are saying, you know what, we can very clearly see that our analytics have been affected when we started to use AI content. So I think we kind of need to just kind of stay buckled in and just keep our ears to, the experts to kind of make sure that once there's a more definitive answer, we will kind of follow suit. But I think when it comes to content optimization and kind of just content creation in general, we want to make sure that even if we're using ChatGPT even remotely as like an outline or even just as some inspiration, we have an entire content team at DLM that is still personally writing all of this and making sure it's as optimized as possible, and also utilizing all of the SEO practices that we do at DLM.
Absolutely. It's so much better to be safe than sorry in situations like that. Like, you definitely don't want to hurt your brand and your website's search engine rankings by just spamming your site up with a bunch of AI content. I know Google, like you said, doesn't always give us definitive answers about what it likes and what it doesn't like. It likes to stay pretty ambiguous on things, but I do know with their latest update, they had mentioned specifically looking for a bunch of AI. And checking the dates when content was published, because if you're just cranking out this chat gpt content and posting basically a whole website's worth of AI generated content, how good is that content? Google doesn't know. It doesn't know if your website was created and just AI all generated. Everything's been basically created within a short amount of time. Are you a legitimate business? Are you a scammer? Are you a shell for a money laundering front? Google doesn't know, and it's not really able to properly vet you if everything's just seeming kind of sketchy. Basically, if you're throwing up a bunch of AI content and you're throwing it up all at the same time, Google's gonna think you're doing something kind of fishy, and they're gonna lower your search engine rankings. So we really want to make sure that even if your content is AI created, that it's ran through, rewritten, rephrased, reoptimized. Like, you can absolutely use AI tools. Like, I use an AI tool every day, Grammarly. I run everything that I type through Grammarly to make sure that my grammar and my spelling is good. But I'm still writing that. So when I'm putting something like that on a website, it's not going to get dinged by Google because Google fixed spelling for me. Google can tell whether something is like primarily AI generated, what level of that we don't really know. And I know there's a lot of kind of confusion and distrust with AI generator kind of finders, and like the people that are able to, or the tools that are able to tell like what things are AI generated, because AI is just changing so fast that what might be a common trend in AI today isn't a common trend in a week from now, because they fixed some things. So I think as of right now, best practice, write your own content, post things yourself on your website. When it comes to things like social media or newsletters, things like that maybe necessarily aren't being
Indexed by Google.
Indexed by Google. The bots aren't running through it. That's a little bit of a different story. You've got a lot more leeway there for sure. And then the other thing just to be aware about Google's AI is not everything is, or not just Google's AI, everyone's AI, not everything is 100% perfect yet. I threw in last week, I asked ChatGPT to give me 5 frequently asked questions about this one procedure, and then I wasn't really liking a lot of those questions, so I said, can you give me 15 more? And instead of giving me 15 more questions, it added the 5 questions that it already had to the 15, and then it still did the math wrong and gave me 21 questions instead of 20. So it's not always perfect. It's not always great. I know there was another case probably about a year and a half ago where a lawyer used ChatGPT to write up, I think it was a final argument or something. It was legal documents for a court case, and they asked ChatGPT to reference other cases that are similar, and ChatGPT referenced cases that didn't exist. So just really make sure that if you're using any AI generated content, read it through, check your facts, make sure that everything's legit, and then, make sure that write your own first, but if you're going to use it, double check everything.
Yeah, I think instead of like, I guess when it comes to like AI, I think we need to think about the way that we view AI.
Yes.
I think people view it as a solution rather than a tool. I think when we use it as a tool, it's so much more effective and we're able to gain so much from it. But then when we use it straight as a solution and just be like, okay, I need to write a full page about Juvederm, and then just have them write it and then just slap it on the website. Like that's not a tool. You're using that for a solution, and you need to be able to like have your own abilities and your own team and your own effort to go into it while using this as a tool to make it just as refined as possible.
100%. AI think of AI less as like a butler, less as like a Jarvis, as a Jeeves, and more as like an assistant, someone that's not necessarily like doing things for you, but maybe helping you do them.
Yeah, no, absolutely. 100%.
Perfect. Going into some other ways that you can use AI in businesses, AI in data analytics. Yeah, there's some really cool tools starting with just Google Analytics, but we'll get into kind of, predictive analytics, forecasting trends, things like that. So, what do you know, or I guess what tools have you used in analytic reporting that use AI?
So I have actually used the Google Analytics data analysis like AI tool. I think the thing is it's more of a new feature. So I think it's is not necessarily bad. It's not like really revolutionary either. I think it's more or less just basically turning like that raw data into like more of a insight of how you can actually take certain avenues of your marketing channels and really start to push it towards whatever you're seeing results with. I think the thing is when it comes to when it comes to looking at these insights and seeing what the like AI data is really trying to like show you when it comes to like making marketing decisions, I think it's really great. I think it's really important to like look at AI driven data, but I also think it's really, really important to kind of crunch those numbers yourself and be able to really look at, hey, like the users in the sessions are this, but it's also AI is telling me something a little bit different. I think you need to be able to decipher both really well. And I think you also need to really, really focus in on what you can do yourself and make sure that you are in full understanding of all of the data, of all of the analytics, and being able, like I said, to use that as a tool and not the end all be all solution.
Absolutely. With the updates in Google Analytics 4, there's been a lot of really, really cool things rolling out and things rolling out that we didn't even have at the launch of AI or the Google Analytics 4. But yeah, exactly what you're saying. Like, there's still some nuance that AI might not necessarily know or be trained with yet. And especially if you just have a newer data set, there's going to be external factors that AI is not going to factor into it that you're going to have to know your business, know your own trends for sure. Use it as a tool, but definitely don't just completely rely on it. I mean, if you're looking at things like, we can just talk about holidays. Like, there's a number of holidays in the United States, like holiday systems that change the dates. They're not the same every year. So if you're looking at Google Analytics and trying to predict trends and just looking at like year over year mapping and seeing like what's up, what's down, depending on when the holiday is, the week might look different for that trend. Like if Thanksgiving is early one year and you're looking to see like trend prediction and planning for your business, Thanksgiving might be late the next year. So your trend map might be a week off. You've got to look at things like that AI might not be catching if you're not looking for it.
I think it's such a fast and evolving topic, and like, what would you call it? Like a system?
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
like a creature, a beast.
Yeah.
Like, it's so evolving, and I don't think people really grasp how much our lives are going to change with how much this is going to constantly evolve. Like, it's like, for example, like even just Meta by itself, like, have you heard of Sandbox?
Yes.
From Meta? That is so interesting.
Very
to like
cool.
be able to like really generate text variations, text to image outcropping to like fit different aspect ratios. Like, I think it's so interesting because people are now going to be able to create entire marketing campaigns that were strictly made in AI. Like, for example, like you were saying, like you went to the Adobe design festival, or not festival, sorry, like event that showed the generative AI abilities of it. And then, for example, what if people like, had a purple background, like drew the like selector marquee tool in the middle, said, hey, give me a bright yellow shiny banana, and then you can put a text underneath it, and then that could be a really simple, easy campaign image. Like, I don't think people realize how close we are to having full AI campaigns.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I will say the one thing that I think would be a little, not necessarily good or bad. I'm waiting to see. So in the US, it's already kind of been a thing over in Europe. We've been moving towards enhanced consumer protection and just like privacy information.
Yeah.
So I know Google's plan in the long run is to get rid of cookies. Cookies are like little trackers with your information and things like that. So if AI is able to help us get a really good profile of, someone's interests, their demographics, basically their advertising persona, AI could help us kind of predict trends in the future for them because we're not going to have their cookies anymore. So just things like that I think, as things change, we just got to see like what happens, like how the rules change and how we're able to adapt. And I think a lot of those adaptations will be with the help of AI.
Yeah, I think I 100% agree. I think the adaptation with AI and being able to adapt and roll with it is just as important because like one of my favorite companies, I don't know if you've ever heard it. It's called Farfetch.
Yes. Are they the fashion brand?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah, so it's basically like a luxury online like marketplace, but it's for like fashion and like kind of like beauty or even like sometimes like colognes and stuff. But what they did is they used AI with specifically their email marketing, and they got to increase the open rate by 7%.
Wow.
Which, I mean, doesn't sound like a lot, but if you're thinking of that large of a company increasing their open rate by almost 10% by using a tool that was almost strictly AI, like, I don't think people realize how amazing that can be, because that 7%, imagine if they just spent most of the products on that page are over $100.
Oh yeah, it's definitely luxury, high fashion retail.
So like if you can increase opened emails by 7% and then 30% of the emails were increased by the emails that were triggered by events. So like, I mean, even the click rate of those emails were increased by 25% and 38%.
That's so crazy. And also a perfect segue into AI and advertising. There's just tons of really cool ways that you can use AI to advertise. I mean, starting at the most basic, one of the services DLM offers, Google Ads. I mean, Google Ads just in itself uses a ton of self optimization through AI, targeting through AI. You can get some really good information about audiences and create a profile with them with AI. I mean, it's really cool.
Yeah, I think people don't really realize how close we are to AI being in almost every single aspect of an advertising campaign. Like even when it comes to the copy, for example, we can A and B test which copy's better. Is the AI copy better or is the human written copy better? Mm-hmm. Who responds to it better? You know what I mean? I think there's so many things that we can do that will really help optimize and just really create just better ad campaigns that will perform better and will allow us to really be able to have that maximum impact of optimizing all of the avenues of advertising with AI, whether that be copy, whether that be reporting, whether that be insights, whether that be any sort of design, whether that be subject lines. It could be literally anything.
AI in design is another thing that's really cool. I know Shutterstock has already started offering AI generated stock images. Tools like Canva have light AI editing. You can AI remove a background. You can AI kind of tweak things like you were saying.
Yeah.
If someone needed a yellow banana in a photo, say, add a yellow banana in this person's hand. Like we were saying earlier, Photoshop's generative AI, they've got a ton. Adobe Spark, which is basically their competition to Canva. It's super similar to that, just like a basic editor, kind of really good for social media. They've got a ton of templates. There's a ton of really cool AI tools with that. I know going more into like the YouTube kind of video range, they're able to AI generate captions. I know that's something that TikTok's been doing for a
Yep.
while. And to be completely honest, a lot of those AI generated captions are pretty good. I mean, there might be a few words that get misconstrued, or like if there's a harsh, not harsh, but like a strong accent, it might not get everything perfect. But, you know, a ton of times the AI generated captions are pretty good.
Oh, 100%. It's just really, really interesting because, like, I think when it comes to especially marketing, like, our career field is going to be one of the most impacted fields by AI. Because you were just saying, like, for example, there's all of those services that marketing and marketers can use. They all are coming out with new AI features that are like, they're really drilling home on. They're like, this is the new best thing. Like, for example, like, even if it's, we're not even talking about like marketing, like even just in design, like you can go to OpenAI, which is ChatGPT. They have DALI too. And you can, that is like the strongest text to image creator that's kind of out to the public right now. And it's just, sometimes it's a little frightening to see what it can do, because it's like, at what point are people going to stop having designers and just be like, hey, this is good enough for me,
Yeah.
and it's free.
And to see how things have improved. I mean, I remember when Dolly Mini was kind of first out and going viral on Twitter, and I remember everybody was making the trail cam images of Pitbull, and then there's the video of Will Smith eating spaghetti that's kind of turning over. Super Uncanny Valley. It borderline doesn't even look like him, and then you see what they can create today, and I mean, it's night and day. It's crazy. And then not even just visuals, there's sound. I mean, you can AI generate voices. I know Grimes, the musician, basically gave everyone permission, hey, use my voice for AI, and she has an AI song out. I mean, it sounds like her. You wouldn't know that it was an AI generated version of her unless that, like, she said something about it. And, you know, even in my personal life, I've decided to pick up another hobby. I'm trying to teach myself to DJ. It's going about as well as you would expect. But one of the tools that I use is an AI tool. You know, it splits the different parts of the sound. I can isolate the vocals. I can isolate the backtrack. I can isolate other parts of the sound just by plugging it into an AI tool. I don't have to do half of the job of being a DJ, which is isolating those things anymore. I can just put it into a software and it exports me an MP3. It's crazy how far AI has come.
Yeah, it's quite literally like mind-boggling, and we're like just at the beginning of it.
Absolutely. It's really mind-boggling. I don't even know truly what to think about it. It's a lot to compute.
Stop shouting into the void and start making headlines. DLM's public relations services are here to turn your story into front page news. We're not just spin doctors, we're storytellers, taking your newsworthy operations to the greater public. Get the attention your brand deserves. Get the attention your brand deserves and boost your search game. Reach out to our PR maestros now.
So enough about how AI can help businesses out. Let's talk about the consumer experience.
Yeah, I think this is gonna be, it'll honestly kind of tie into what I was talking about Farfetch, because they quite literally were using AI to figure out what the consumer prefers. Like, did they like a more welcoming tone? Do they like something that's a little bit more professional, cold cut, right to the point? Or do they like really like ostentatious, luxurious, like vocabulary that is very, you know, like out there? I think it's something that like we can constantly use to
really be able to kind of figure out what our clientele really likes and what is going to help boost customer engagement and loyalty and just overall conversion rates on our website. We can help ChatGPT or any sort of AI tool to help us figure out, what are some really good call to actions that we can use that are specifically for a fashion company, or what can we use that is going to be really beneficial in terms of title or call outs. Like, I think the way that we use ChatGPT is going to be a way that we can kind of figure out what our customer and what our clients react to in a positive way.
Yeah. My favorite usage, I think, on the consumer side is just how AI can be a chatbot. I know we offer Iris, our service here at DLM, which is kind of an AI chatbot type of situation for your website. But I mean, there's a ton of other ways that you could use an AI chatbot. I know there's other companies that do them. But there's also, capabilities that you can have an AI chatbot on your company's Facebook page. I remember way back, probably in like 2020. I guess it's not that far ago, but I did the Adobe conference at home. Adobe does a big conference every year in LA, and they bring a bunch of cool people in. And one of the things that I sat on the online version was about AI chatbots and how to set them up, how to make them successful, like the capabilities, where they were at then. And I mean, looking back at that and seeing how fast things have moved, I mean, it's night and day. Back then they were talking about what specific responses that you have to set up, what specific, messages do you want to put in there if there's a message that people are trying to send that the AI bot can't understand. And I mean, even from the AI chatbots, think about a lot of those phone trees. If you're trying to call a business and it's a robot voice trying to talk to you and ask you like who you're trying to talk to, things like that, the capabilities of those have just expanded so much. It used to be if it didn't recognize like a few words, like you weren't getting a response at all. But now a lot of these tools are smart enough that they can actually do some digging themselves.
Yeah. And I guess even Lauren, I guess I'm also kind of looking for your thoughts on this too. Mm-hmm. Like when it comes to chatbots and AI, and even just using ChatGPT or any sort of AI to kind of figure out what the consumer positively reacts to. And then, I mean, businesses are going to capitalize on that. They're going to begin to kind of push in that direction to kind of see a positive reaction so that they can hopefully continue to make a profit. Do you think that in some way that is going to break a customer's trust, or if for example, if someone's really privacy driven, I don't want anyone to really know any of my information, I have DuckDuckGo, I don't want anything to be traced, and I have to talk to an AI chatbot, do you think that someone's going to be I don't really want to talk to them? Are they going to be able to have all of my, information safe? Is it going to, is my information going to just go out into the ether? What do you kind of think is going to happen when it comes to not only just data privacy, but just I guess humans' relationships with AI?
I think it's really interesting. Right now, we're kind of at a space with AI where people just don't really know what to think about it. I think your description of AI as a beast or a monster is a really good kind of example of that. A lot of people are scared of it. We hear that AI is coming to take our jobs. It's the new scapegoat that we're blaming a ton of things on because people just don't really understand it. I think that they don't realize, deep down, AI is a computer. It's a computer trying to mimic a human brain, but it's still a computer, and it's still something that humans have created. I think that a lot of people think that we've got a new millennium, year 2000 computers coming alive situation, and it's just not that. We're not at that level yet.
Yeah.
I know a few years ago there was all this worry that AI has become sentient, and AI's sentience is a very different sentience than the type of sentience that you and I have. AI's sentience isn't, oh, hello, I am a robot and I am self-realizing that I'm a robot. AI knows it's a robot. It knows it was created. It's not coming to life like that. Like it's hard to explain, but it's different. So I think it'll be interesting to see. I mean, already I just assume if I'm emailing someone or things like that, like things are automated. If I'm talking to a chatbot on a website, unless someone introduces themselves, I'm assuming it's AI.
Yeah.
If I am calling a business, unless a person answers and it's a robot voice, you know, I'm assuming it's AI. I think, you know, you get all the people that they get a robocall or they're trying to get on a customer service line and they're representative. So I think we already have, you know, a level of distrust kind of with AI.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, people like my parents, they're not ancient, but they're, you know, Gen Xers. They don't really know a ton about it. Like, this technology, it's moved fast to us, but I mean, in their lifetime, you know, my parents were born around the time we landed on the moon. I mean, like, we're going from moon landing to computers that know everything in really not that long of a time when you think about things. I think a lot of it is just people's willingness to adapt and their fear to it. And, you know, there is a lot of issues. Like right now, I think you hear stories about companies putting things into ChatGPT, and then all of a sudden now ChatGPT knows stuff about your company and your like proprietary information. And then there's other issues like the CCPA, which is the Childhood Privacy Act. I believe it's people under 13 have additional protections online. And then same thing, like a lot of our clients work in the medical industry. We have to deal with HIPAA. You know, is AI HIPAA compliant? I mean, a lot of the tools that we use, we're not putting people's information in. We're not using tools like that. But if it came down to it, like, are EMRs going to be using AI? Like, is your information safe going into things like that? Like, where are the answers ending up? Are they being stored? I think there's a lot of questions right now, and I think that we'll get legislation that will make things more clear, but I think right now a lot of things are just up in the air.
Yeah, I think it's also like, even I think you're obviously very creative, and like I went to like art college, so I think something that has always been like so interesting to me is like I can go on to Dolly and be like, make me an image of a dog that is jumping out of a tree into a pool, but in the style of Andy Warhol.
Yeah.
And then like at that point, like, are you stealing Andy Warhol's style? And it's like, I think it's such a like interesting kind of playing field. Everything's really muddy.
Yeah.
And it's like really interesting because like right now, like we are in the thick of it, and like we're going to kind of watch what happens and kind of how we navigate that. And I think you made a really, really good point when it comes to, we're going to see legislature here soon. Like, I think we're absolutely going to be seeing a lot more laws and a lot more of government involvement when it comes to AI, because I think it's going to get to the point where like they might have to step in.
Yeah. And I mean, even a lot of social media websites are, you know, changing their policies that they're letting AI basically use their uploads as source material. So basically what that means is if an AI tool was online, like it can use your things that you upload as source material for things. So, you know, like if I upload my artwork to Twitter or Reddit, like, am I 5 years down the road going to see a piece of my artwork and some AI generated? You know, we don't necessarily know like the level of source or material that's being sourced. You know, is it just colors? Is it techniques? Is it different things like that? And then exactly like when you get into styles like Andy Warhol, Tim Burton, you know, Picasso, people that have like a very particular style. I mean, a lot of the times we consider things, even if it's not copywritten, like your style is yours and it's unique, and if people copy that, like they'll get called out for it. But now with AI, you know, there's kind of that gray area, like we don't totally know, and there's, you know, fear of deep fakes, things like that. In the political realm, I won't go too into that, but I know a lot of people are scared of things like that. There's been a lot of issues lately of people recreating, or not recreating, but just creating AI generated recipes, sand art, just weird, crazy stuff on Facebook. And they get all of these other AI accounts to like interact, and they beef up these profiles to get a ton of likes and a ton of comments and a ton of interaction. And it looks like you've got really good, engagement between your followers and you. And they sell these accounts to people that use them to scam, or like they're posting scammy links. And a lot of the times, older generations that might not know a lot about AI, they might not know the tells of how to figure out if something's AI generated, like looking at the hands, looking at hair, looking at things that should be like typically moving, looking at shadows, looking at lights in the eyes. Like, a lot of people just don't know those tells, and they're getting fooled by things online. Like, there's definitely dangers there for sure.
Yeah, it's crazy because like my parents have fallen for AI. Like images, like the Met Gala just happened, and there was a picture of Lady Gaga that was like very, very clearly fake. And my parents sent it in their family group chat, and they were like, this is crazy, like blah blah blah. They said, my parents are also a little bit out there, and they were like, we're in the Hunger Games. I'm like, okay, well, that was AI, mom. She has 4 legs, so
yeah, it's very interesting, and I think that we're going to see some changes. I hope that people become more comfortable with it, because, AI isn't a scary monster. AI is a tool that you can use to grow your business. You can have some fun with, like, don't think of it as, like, something dangerous. Think of it as an opportunity,
Yeah. I think when you talk about, like, opportunity, do you think like in the future we're gonna have like really cool, I don't know, for example, like, I mean, ChatGPT, like, do you think we're just gonna continue to really grow in that way? Like, do you think in the next 5-10 years, like, do you have any like predictions?
Well, I'm interested to see, really, outside of the marketing industry. I mean, there's a ton of things I'm interested to see there, but like the movie industry, all about the stuff like with
That's
the
a really good point.
extras.
That's a really
that
good
one.
point.
Yeah, going I guess into the marketing industry, things like cookies. If we get rid of that, like how are the predictive audiences? I mean, AI is said to be able to predict the likelihood of someone buying something, depending on your, buyer's journey. How are those things? Like, are they actually going to be accurate? Are they actually going to tell? Because I mean, if they were to look at my advertising profile, I'd say I'm a pretty unreliable buyer on things like that. Like, I look things up all the time. I'll be on social media, but like, I'll be doing all my research, and then when I really decide to buy, it's 2 a.m. 3 weeks down the road, and I'm like, oh, I forgot to do that. Like I might not have a traditional buyer's journey, and like, how is that going to affect my buying persona? Like, is it going to be accurate when they think that I'm actually going to buy something? We'll see.
Yeah, I think it's really, really interesting, because I think when not even just marketing, like I think every single avenue, every career, every business, every type of business, like literally every single thing will be affected by AI in the next 5 to 10 years. Because even to think about, like, even just 2 years ago when like ChatGPT really was like, hey, have you guys kind of seen what this is? Even what ChatGPT 4.0, what it is now, is like just so mind-boggling.
Oh, it's so fast. I mean, you used to have to wait for answers, and now they're instantaneous. It's crazy.
And they're also so much more in detail and better, and actually can fully understand what you're asking it instead of giving like a very surface level answer. I think within the next, like, even just 5 years, like, I would almost guarantee you we're going to see some sort of like government involvement where they're like, this is moving a little too fast.
Yeah.
And we're going to see these major companies gonna start like really, really profiting off of AI. I think like if you're in marketing, there's gonna be a major company that owns the best AI marketing like software, and they're just gonna kind of be like a pillar. Like right now we have like the social medias, and I think we're gonna start to see like Meta, and then OpenAI, and then what's another AI business, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I guess stay tuned. I mean, who knows? season 4 of the DLM podcast or the In the Limelight podcast might be fully AI.
Right, exactly.
never
We'll
know,
just
yeah.
get our voices AI generated, and then we'll do full episodes where we aren't even talking.
Yeah, it would be crazy. Well, anyway, thank you for listening to the In the Limelight podcast. Hopefully you enjoyed learning about AI, and hopefully you're keeping up to date on the future advancements. I would definitely recommend playing around with ChatGPT, whether you use it for your business or just to generate some funny looking images. It's a ball. But anyway, thanks for listening. This is Lauren signing off.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys. And I hope you enjoyed the AI episode. Just watch out for when AI takes over the world.
Ooh. Bye now.
Just kidding. Bye, guys.